There's another list of our oppressors. The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe Monetary Policy Committee. All right. So Dr. John Mankuja is the governor and chairman of that thing. And these two deputy governors, Dr. Chesman Tichipika and Dr. Innocent Matse. And then there's other 5 people that are not part of the executive management. This is Professor Kosiam, Professor Albert Makochekanwa. Yeah. Big people. Mr. Persistence Ellison Kwanyanya, Professor, another PhD, destroying my country. Daniel Makina, Dr. Charity Jinya, and Mrs. Matilda Zumbunu. All these 8 people, they're the reasons why you are suffering as a country. Let that sink in. Let that sink in as we go to the election and say, it's ED, it's ZANU-PF. Yes, ED is the president of all of this, who's presiding over all of this, who's allowing these people, okay, to do what they're doing. Generally, my policy is to fire all of them. All 8, unless they give me a reason why they must sit there as the Monetary Policy Committee. With the situation in the country like this, massive money printing used for illegal activities of driving the currency to the abyss, at the same time thereby increasing inflation in the country, massive wealth transfer from the people to those that participate in this under the leadership, the incompetent leadership of these 8 people who are in the Monetary Policy Committee. I told you about the other 10 who are in the executive management. So okay, these roles overlap. The three governors, they are in both of them. I'm sure the executive management runs the function, the functionality of the bank, but the Monetary Policy Committee, they are the ones who sit down and discuss policy and implement policy. And my question to them is, when you sit down and implement policy, you implement it for who? For yourselves? For your pockets? For who? Because certainly it's not for the Zimbabweans. Certainly the Zimbabweans in the last 20 years whose wealth have been siphoned illegally by using instruments in the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe so that their values are lost and they are allocated to other people illegally. These are the 8 people that sit down and discuss these things and they make sure that our people are broke. I'm asking them a question: how in the hell must they keep working there? Why must we allow them to carry on doing what they're doing? I'm telling you, my new government removes all this video. Don't tell me about removing ZANU-PF only. No. The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. Clean that building from the top floor to the ground floor. Everything that is human, everything that breathes in there must go. Everything that is breathing, anything that is got life, even the cockroaches at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe must go. Amahuhu wonke, even if there is a rat in there, those rats should never be allowed in that street. What's the name of that street? Narare 80 Samora Machel Avenue. You see a rat in Samora Machel Avenue under a new government, it must go. No. Have my daughter. We cannot suffer like this. And these guys, they are very clever. They hide behind ZANU-PF. They hide. They know. Nobody will blame the CPZ, the RPZ, because the financial literature, economics jargon is too difficult for people to understand. So the blame will be always, itim nangako. No. I accept it has got these faults, but these guys, they must all go. Mrs. Matilda Zumbun, Dr. Charity Ginya, Professor Daniel Makina. Let's research these people. Who are these people? Anyway, who are these people who are destroying my country? Mrs. Matilda. No, let's start with that prophet, the one with the prophet, yeah, Professor Albert Abed Makochekano. Let's see who he is. Prof. Albert. My what? Makochekano. Yeah. Kochekwana. Let's see. Let's see if you can see his face. There. There. Nice looking guy. Looks like that smile. It tells you what in the real. Yeah, there is his face. Let me show you his face. There he is. Your distinguished Professor Albert Makochekwana. This guy is one of the people who make decisions that cause the Zimbabwean dollar to lose value. Okay? Let's read there. It says fields of specialization, globalization, and trade. Globalization. All right. Professor of Economics and Chairman of Department Department of Economics, University of Zimbabwe. If this is guy is the leader of the Department of Economics in the University of Zimbabwe, this is the best that we have in the best University of Zimbabwe, and this is how they are running the economy. Hayi madoda, hayi kuyadlalwa lapha, kuyadlalwa ngathi lapha shem, hayi kuyadlalwa ngathi. So bathini kabanye ama-professor? What must the other professors do if the best professor? I mean, I think the person who appointed this guy did a good thing, because he's telling himself, well, you are the senior professor at the University of Zimbabwe. Go to the Reserve Bank in the Monetary Policy Committee. Perhaps you will put some sense in those people at the Reserve Bank. He's also a senior research fellow at Zimbabwe Economic Policy Analysis and Research Unit. I do not know who owns this research unit. Is it owned by the government, or is it a government-run institution or private-run institution? I do not know. There isn't much about these people because they know how to hide. Because I really want to get to the bottom of who is making these decisions, these economic decisions. Who are these people? Let's get to know them. Don't tell us about Nankakwa, ZANU-PF, Nankakwa, ZANU-PF. No, that's not enough. Tell me, Albert Makochekwana, who are you? Why must we keep on using your services at the Reserve Bank? This internet doesn't have much information. This internet does not have much information, really. These people, they really know how to hide from public scrutiny. We must scrutinize these people. Don't tell me we must leave. No, we must not leave them alone. We must scrutinize them. We must know, because they are the ones who are making these decisions and hiding behind Itim Nangako. Itim Nangako doesn't set a monetary policy. He put people there to set monetary policy. You see, it doesn't have to be smart and understand this economic jargon. He just needs to put smart people. But look at what the smart people are doing. We need to now to investigate the smart people and interrogate the smart people on their input into the problems of the country. Okay. There isn't much. There isn't anything really about these people here. Let's go to the University of Zimbabwe there. At least maybe at the University of Zimbabwe, they will tell us who is this guy who's running our economy. Okay. It does not allow. No. Nothing is coming. Let's move on to the next one. You see, it's very much you would know who they are, but all you know is that Marie Rukuluza Valo. Chat. These are the guys. Professor Albert at the University of Zimbabwe. I don't know what he's teaching the Zimbabwean economists and use it to mismanage the economy. Clearly, we are not going. The University of Zimbabwe cannot produce proper economists. Clearly. Can you tell me a reason why you can actually trust an economist coming from the University of Zimbabwe when the head himself of that university is the one who's running monetary policy in Zimbabwe and running the country to the abyss? And you tell me what is he teaching his students? Because like father, like father, like son, the people that is influencing at the Reserve Bank at the University of Zimbabwe, what kind of economists are they going to become? Man, Msatambi, Professor, let's leave this one. Mr. Persistence Ellison Kwanyana. Let's go. Mr. Persistence. Persistence Ellison. Let me just say RBZ so that they are all nice and fat. All of them, their faces are full of fat. You know, you can say that this was they're eating. Life is nice. And you tell me, what incentives do they have to fix the economy of Zimbabwe when you can see they are fat and they are eating? They have got the fat of the land. And you tell me that these people are going to fix the problems of Zimbabwe. No, they are the problem of Zimbabwe. The problems of Zimbabwe are these people like Persistence, Ellison, Guanyanya. I don't understand why must this guy carry on attending those monetary policy meetings, and why must the Zimbabweans entrust the whole economy on you, Persistence, Ellison, Guanyanya, founder, futurist, vision consultant of Bullion Group International, an RBZ advisor on monetary policy committee member. And what is it that you're advising the RBZ, if I may ask, say? And why must my life, and the life of other Zimbabweans, they are our financial lives and our futures? Why must we entrust them on people like you who have run our country down while it's allocating blame to ZANU PF and Itim Nangako, but and cleverly excluding yourselves from it? Because as far as I'm concerned, you are the biggest problem in the country. You are a futurist. Tell me, Mr. Persistence, what does the future hold for Zimbabwe with people like you at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe making ill-disciplined decisions that destroy the futures of my people? Tell me. There, I'm not going to go. I don't have a LinkedIn account. I'm going to show you his face. Where is it? I wanted to. Yeah, let me show you. Let me show you. There. You see? But you can see what these guys are fat. They're eating. Look, nice suits, nice ties. Look at the people behind him suffering. These people behind him don't even know that this is the guy who's making a decision that make the Zimbabwean dollar to lose value. Look, if these guys are making decisions, the Zimbabwean dollar loses value, and I find out they are also thin, I can understand. We're suffering together. But look how fat they are. Look how well fed they are. dressing expensive. Tell me, where do they get the money to buy all of these clothes, to eat all of this food, when other people do not have the money in the clothes? Hmm? Tell me, tell me, where do you get the money from? Because there's no money in the country. But you people are drive expensive cars. I was in Harare the other year. I was surprised. And there's this financial district in Harare. They've got expensive cars, very expensive cars. The offices, they look very nice. And I'm asking myself, is Zimbabwe a poor country? Look at this wealth, this great wealth, and all of it. You want to see, all of that wealth is centered around in the banking industry. There will be banks around in offices, and these Zimbabwean men with nice, expensive suits, big, expensive cars. When I'm talking about expensive cars, I'm not talking about BMW or Mercedes Benz. These are cheap cars. I'm sure their secretaries drive Mercedes Benz. They drive more expensive cars, the Range Rovers, the latest range, even the Porsche. Okay, the expensive Porsches, expensive, super expensive cars on the 2,000, 2 million, 4 million rand cars in a country like Zimbabwe. You see, they're all fat like this guy. And you ask him, I used to ask myself, so where do these guys get this money from? When we're always hearing when the news that there's no money in the country, people are suffering, but these ones are fat. Let me tell you something. These people, they must prepare their bags, because when for some reason, out of one of the 1 billion chances that I might become the president of Zimbabwe, it was not even 1 billion. I mean, are we 20 million? Let me just use 20 million. No one knows. So there is 1 in 20 million chances that I may be the leader of Zimbabwe, which means there is a chance. I'm reminded of Jim Carrey. These people, they must start picking their bags. Because in India's president, I mean, they will be accountable. I'll hold them accountable. Seriously, I'm not playing. I am not playing, Mr. Makoche Kwan. I'm not saying you're going to go to jail, say, but I'm saying that there's a possibility that you might have a future in jail, because there is future list, unless you prove to me why you must not be in jail, why you must carry on working with us to build a better Zimbabwe. If you can give me good reasons, all is well. All is well. I don't intend to persecute people just because we are angry. No, let's look at individual issues and tell us what have you been doing, the monetary policy committee. Perhaps you are one of the voices that was fighting for us from the inside, without us on the outside knowing that there is some people actually, when these policies are made that impoverish the people, there is 1 or 2 people inside who are always have these dissenting voices, who are always fighting, but they've never resigned because they want to fight from within, or try to be right from within. So we do not want to throw the baby with the bathwater. But now I want to ask you a question. Why are you fat and living large when everybody else is suffering in the country? What is your contribution to the suffering in Zimbabwe? How much blame do you allocate to yourself? You yourself, as the member of the Monetary Policy Committee, how much blame do you allocate to yourself? At least the one that you admit. And what, at least if you admit some blame, no one is perfect. Okay, no one is perfect. Let's admit some wrong, and let's say, what is it that you are going to do going forward? What policies are you going to set at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe? Number 1. Number 2, how are you going to stop the bleeding of the economy? Because I know that the bleeders are the Reserve Bank. Okay, has been well established that it is people in the Reserve Bank. So now, how do they respond? The people at the Reserve Bank. One of them, I'm talking to you, Mr. Persistence. Ellison, I like your name. You've got a nice name. Persistence. Okay, I like persistence. All right. So let's be persistent in seeking a better Zimbabwe for all, say, not just for yourself, but and the individuals around you, but for all. Zimbabweans trust you with expertise and knowledge. If you are a smart guy, a professor, I mean, this is a great achievement. You are in the monetary policy of the country. I mean, monetary policy committee. That's a great achievement. I am telling you, that is a great achievement. Okay, not a lot of people get to be there. Okay, we are up there like with the guy president, ministers, reserve bank governors, monetary policy committee members. You are up there, Mr. Persistence Elizabeth. You are up there. You're a very important guy in my country, and you are an important guy in my life. You have affected my life by the decisions that you make. I want you to therefore understand, well, do you take responsibility? Okay, I'm asking you a question. Do you take responsibility for the problems, economic problems in Zimbabwe that emanate from the RBZ's mismanagement of the economy? As an institution, do you recognize the problems in the institution of RBZ? I want you to tell me, what is it that the institution is wrong that you are doing, that you think that you must be corrected? And as an individual, why must my new government keep you there at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe? For I need some people. Okay. I'm not gonna run the country alone. I need people with the RBZ. I need people with experience. I need people who are smart. Okay. However, if we want to sit down and be rational about it and discuss like proper men to men and not like fighting like cats and dogs, we're going to have to ask some simple questions on what what responsibility do you allocate to yourself. Don't shift the blame to Idim Nankakwa and ZANU-PF. We know what Idim and ZANU-PF have done. It's not about them. It's about RBZ. The RBZ has brought the Zimbabwean dollar on its knees and destroyed the futures and household incomes of millions of Zimbabweans. Untold misery to all the Zimbabweans, just for the few people at the Monetary Policy Committee to be well fed. Because you guys are well fed. I know I've been to Harare and I've seen the cars that you drive. I've seen the houses that you live in. I don't understand how in the hell do you afford those cars and live in those expensive houses and live that lifestyle when we know the macro the macroeconomic conditions in the country are so dire for decade after decade, yet the micro economics of your lives and your wives and your children is why must we keep it there? You look like a nice guy. Why do I keep looking at this guy's pictures, and these pictures looking at the camera like he's looking at me? He looks like a nice guy. He looks like a guy who's understanding, man. It looks like we can have a chat, we can have breakfast and talk about the country and take the country forward. That's what I'm reading when I'm just looking. No, I'm not being prophetic. I'm just looking at a face. Perhaps it's the bit of I don't know. It's an spiritual influence, but I just look. You look like a guy who who thinks, who's rational, and can discuss, and a pathway forward, going forward. How can we make the country better for everyone, not just for the chosen few? Okay, there is no chosen few that deserve the wealth, and the rest of the people must not get anything. No, 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 no. Okay, let's move on. Who's the next guy? Persistence isedlulele kuye. U-Albert simbonile ngithi. U-Albert kanje ngophi? Oh, simbonile Albert. Nangomunye another professor, Daniel Makina. Professor Daniel Makina. Let's Google to Professor Daniel Makina. Sifuna ukuthi we want to see these people. Ngobani vele bona laba bantu? Professor Daniel Makina. UNISA. Professor Daniel Makina, College of Economic and Management Sciences, School of Economic and yes, scholars, the economics. Why do they produce people who fail to run an economy? Manje South Africa manje. He's a guy, he looks like, this guy looks decent, man. They all look decent, nice fellows. But yeah, Zimbabweans. Kazodlala. Kazodlala. Bakushaya 10-0 while smiling at you speaking big English. Never, I don't trust anybody who speaks big English, who try to impress me with big English words. But I know with a manga word. University of Johannesburg, Professor Daniel uh, makundwanei takundwa newe matikunda mukoma hayi matikunda takundwa nemi ndimi matikunda muri kutivhunza kuti makundwa nei takundwa neeconomy imimi ndimi muri kurana economy say this shit this guy looks nice this I see his face he's smiling oh my god it makes me blush he is a guy let me show you he's got a very beautiful smile look at that smile. That smile can sell you anything, and you will take it. You see what I'm talking about? What I'm saying that these are rational guys. I mean, like they look nice, decent guys, but the destruction of whole families, industries, not just families, industries are destroyed. But these are the people that are in charge of making sure that our families are fine, our industries are not destroyed, our financial system is intact. So my question to them is, what went wrong? Okay, what went wrong, Mr. Taniet? He looks like a nice guy. I could have a lunch with this one. You see, he looks professional, you know, educated. Cause wafamba sei manje ukuthi currency yokumova to 1 to 6,000 naye baba Professor Daniel makundwa nei imimi makundwa nei gogo ku RBZ. Okay, the episode should also be nice to people and not be harsh on people, you know. Perhaps there is some other underlying factor that we do not know, that we do not understand, and we are rushing into conclusion. See, so when I look at these people's faces, now I feel some love for them. They look like they love me too. Okay. But then, what will go wrong? What will go wrong? Very much information about these people is almost not there. These are the biggest people in our country, but you cannot find them online. You cannot easily find them. Okay, these guys, they're well published. This is ResearchGate. Let me listen to this one. Daniel McKin, University of South Africa, Department of Finance. Wait for the next one. Risk management and banking. So this is the best guy that we have concerning risk management and banking. He is at the University of South Africa. He's a high flyer. But they're failing to manage the risk of the Zimbabwean economy and the banking sector that cannot be regulated in Zimbabwe. Yet this guy is the University of South Africa. So I'm telling myself, should we trust University of Zimbabwe, University of South Africa, and UNISA? Yeah, UNISA says University of South Africa, right? PhD from vets. Should we trust PhDs from vets? Should we? If the PhDs from vets are running the economy of Zimbabwe down, so what is the purpose of doctorate, professorship, all of those 10 years studying? So you study so that you can just come to learn how to be a professional thief. Hayi man madoda, no. Ayisebenzi njalo madoda, ayisebenzi njalo. Hayi boy, I'm a professor. You are the people who make the white people say black people cannot lead. You are the people that make Ian Smith who said black people 1,000 years can go over, black people cannot lead themselves. Here we are, black people will take you to school. You become doctors and look what you're doing to us. No, my daughter. Dr. Daniel Makina currently works at the Department of Finance, Risk Management and Banking at the University of South Africa. His research interests are fintech, financial inclusion, and migration economics. His current project is writing a book on financial inclusion. This is really making me sad. Financial inclusion in Africa. Financial inclusion. I mean, this yazi Nkosi yami akawuncede, because at the end of the day yibo laba abantu engibafunayo to build a better Zimbabwe. These people who are writing books about financial inclusion. Who doesn't want financial inclusion? We want financial inclusion, especially a guy who specializes in financial inclusion and even wants to write a book about financial inclusion. Yet in his job, we're seeing financial exclusion. At the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, they're doing nothing but financial exclusion. So, talk to us, the Dr. Daniel Makina. Kusuke kwaba wrong ukuphi? Where did you go wrong? From being a high flyer who believes in financial inclusion, and you are involved in the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, but all we're seeing is financial exclusion. We're seeing all the Zimbabweans being excluded from financial prosperity, including the CZI. The CZI is also complaining. The industries. How are you running the currency? Said Daniel Makana. Here's another thing about him. Daniel Makina is a professor of finance at the University of South Africa, the Department of Finance, Risk Management and Banking. He's an NRF rated. NRF. Should we trust the NRF anymore if they're producing people who destroy an economy? Researcher who is extensively published in the form of peer-reviewed books. So these peers who review these books, these peer-to-peer reviewers, so they agree with all of this. In journal articles, notably contributed the chapter The Mortgage Market Character and Trends in Africa of the International Encyclopedia of Housing and Home that was published. You see, I don't blame Idim Nangagwa for appointing people like this. I can't blame it. I mean, from when I'm president and I see this illustrious, achievement to this guy, you're like, yeah, this is the guy that we need. Put him at the Monetary Policy Committee. They're gonna make sound economic decisions, sound prudential microeconomic decisions. But look what they do. Furthermore, he edited the special issue of the African Journal Economic and Management Sciences on Financial Services in Africa, including in 2017 as Volume 8, Issue Number 1. Daniel was editor of the textbook Extending Financial Inclusion in Africa, published by River in 2009. He is a fellow of South African Institute of Financial Markets and Regulatory and contributes to his magazine. So this South African Institute of Financial Markets, they agree with what is happening in Zimbabwe, because their guy is in there who's always concerned about financial markets. But look at what's happening with the financial markets of Zimbabwe. Let's move on to another guy. Did I show you his picture with Daniel? Yeah, I did show you. He looks like a nice guy. Daniel McKean. Yes, Dr. Charity Jinya. I think this one is a lady. Let's go. Dr. Charity Jinya. Top bank. Yeah, whether on paper, Zimbabwe is the best. This one, the first thing that comes on Google says top banker Kenya makes grand region. Top bank. Zimbabwe is top when it comes to education. Number 1. But when it comes to reality, 0. Nothing. Hey, well, the educated people are nonsense. Educated to steal. People are educated lapha. Amasela kuphela nje wodwa nje over-educated using the leverage of that paper of the educated while it's destroying the economy. I don't see a picture of it. There's an article here that I'm seeing. Uh, this is a 2021 by Bulawayo 24. Ex-Nedbank Managing Director Charity Kenya has made a surprise return to the country's banking industry on Saturday after Finance Minister Mthuli Ncube included her in a powerful list of economists and bankers to sit on the central bank's monetary policy committee. So Mthuli Ncube ngoba-appointileyo laba bantu laba. The five included economics lecturer Albert Makochekana, another economist Persistence Kwanyanya, and POSB Bank chairperson Matilda. POSB, asikafiki but sisinayo POSB Bank chairperson Matilda Zumbunu, who already sits on the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe board. Academic Daniel Makina completed the team that will join RBZ Governor John Mankocha and his two deputies in making crucial monetary policy decisions in the MPC. A former Bankers Association of Zimbabwe president, the banking syndicate in Zimbabwe, ever since the government liberalized the banking sectors in the early 1990s, allowing local participants in the banking industry. We had a destruction of trust in the banking system. We've had bank collapses, starting with the Boga Bank. And I remember even in the 2003, 4, 5, when Mthuli Ncube's Barbican Bank fell, together with many multitude other banks. You know, we had 5 or 7 or 8 banks that fell during that time. All right. So this woman, we're talking about a former Bankers Association of Zimbabwe. You would think that is an illustrious position. No, it's a position of the leader of the failures, unscrupulous bankers from the 90s, 2000s to that up to now. So she was a leader. So she's an epitome of what is bad, what is terrible in the Zimbabwean banking industry. And Mthuli Ncube brought her back. But anyway, I'm not surprised because Mthuli Ncube is one of what is bad, of the bad apples. In fact, in the banking industry in Zimbabwe, it is very difficult to find an apple that is not rotten. Okay, it's like a whole group of bad apples. I'm telling you, they ran Barbican Bank down. People lost them. I remember, and I'll never forget him telling me when he was. I remember when he was Barbican CEO. It's Kyo, it's Koluma. Oh, this guy was inspirational. You would think like he's talking into an engqondo. But manga what this guy specializes in lying. PhD in lies. Nothing but lying and informing people using big words for the purposes of stealing and destroying the lives of people. If you people are educated and you are really informative, all of that education must at least bring prosperity in the country. Because at the end of the day, the reason why we call you doctors, PhDs, is because there is value that you are bringing into the country. But on the contrary, you people are destroying my country. It's the value that is there. You just come to eat the value that is there. You destroy the value instead of adding value, but you're destroying value. You see, here's this guy, this one, this Gina. I haven't seen her face. There is a fact that saying with a former Bankers Association of Zimbabwe president, a big known, a big ex, retired early last year after presiding over the transition of the MBCA Bank to Nedbank during a tough period. Probably she's the one who contributed to the toughness for banks and industries faltering under the weight of a brutal economic crisis that would later be amplified by the outbreak of COVID-19. She had previously been MD at Barclays Bank before it rebranded to First Capital Bank following a 2017 takeover. I would like to congratulate the new members who I am confident to further strengthen the RBZ. There's no man that I know who's very good at lying like Mthuli Ncube. All the guys very good. So, zvinhu zvichafanka zvichafaya zvinhu zvakarongeka zvakarong mutoni ncokelo PhD your PhDs. I would like to congratulate the new members who I am confident will further strengthen the RBZ Monetary Policy Committee. The appointments are with immediate effect and I wish them all a successful tenure. Yeah, they are successful because they've got lots of money. They look nice. I mean, since the country is suffering, I wonder where they get the money to buy food. Since millions of families don't have food, they don't have jobs, can't even afford that passport. Some people are looking for just $100 so that they can just get a passport and get out of the country to look for a job. But these guys that Mthole appointed, they look fat and nice, well fed, expensive cars. So yeah, I'm told you're right. You wish them all a successful tenure. They are having a successful tenure for themselves only. Last week, Eddie Cross told our sister paper, the Zimbabwe Independent, that he had quit the MPC. Okay, this is an old article from 2021. But banking sector sources told Business Digest that the former legislator and ex-cold storage company general manager had recently complained about fatigue and frustration at the central bank. We need to talk to Eddie Cross. He must tell us what is this fatigue and frustration at the central bank. We need to understand what is going on in our country. The source says there had been attempts at the Minister of Finance and Economic Development to gag the outspoken economist who is known for speaking his mind. Yes, I resigned from the MPC, Cross said, but I would rather not say more than that, he added. You know what that means? I would rather not say anything more because there is more to say. And if that more, if it is said, it will destroy careers of a lot of people and it will expose some powerful people. So Eddie Cross is a normal human being who values self-preservation. Unlike me, I'm not a normal human being. I don't value self-preservation. I will get into hell knowing that is hell. So Eddie Cross, he says, I would rather, I will not say more than that. But Eddie Cross is now the economic advisor to Emerson Mnangagwa, isn't it? He's an economic advisor to the president at the moment. So he's just the advisor. He's not the boss of the president. The president is his boss. And he does speak his mind, that guy. He's the one who told you, Ulo, Gold Mafia, who told your prophet, Gold Prophet, Angel, that he must not come back to Zimbabwe. It will kill him. He basically didn't use the word kill him, but he says eliminate him or something like that. He said that it is brutal. He is what? Basically, he just said Guti it is not the kind of guy who mess up with. He can get you gone. He can commit your ancestors. So I know that even me, I know to this. I know that he's like that. I told you, but I'm not like Eddie Cross. I can get into the fire knowing that it is fire. And in Daniel. So let Daniel anointing. We get in the fire. But sometimes the Holy Spirit makes you do things that a normal person wouldn't do. And don't think go to the fire won't burn you. It will burn you. And he said, yeah, I will be with you, son. Let's leave it. Let's carry on. The MPC was established in September 2019 following many years of absence after Zimbabwe adopted a multi-currency system in 2009 to stabilize the economy in the aftermath of the downturn between 2007 and 2008, which knocked off the domestic currency. Cross-frank analysis and disclosures of what would be taking place at the central bank had triggered concern within the government and the RBZ. In 2019, he revealed that a new currency was to be introduced well before RBZ was ready to announce the development. So you see, there are some people like Eddie Cross who are obviously more credible, owing to the fact that this person resigns. He says, no, I'm not going to be part of that. What is it, say? Hey, I'd rather not say. I like it across. You see that thing? I'm not going to be part of it. What is it? I'm not gonna. I would rather not say more. That in itself is telling that there is more, whatever that is. There is more. So sakuginya, ujinya, ujinya. Yeah, nansi. Charity Jinya, Bayo. Chiratizo. It's a nice name. It's a lady. It's a mother. I'll show you a picture. I need you to know who is responsible for bank failures, for the failure of the economy. I put the blame squarely on you and your fellows. Charity, Chiratizo, Jinya. You're a leader of bankers the past 20 or so years, and you know everything that is bad in the banking sector of Zimbabwe. Currently, you sit in the highest board that decides monetary policy. Let's read. Fellow Institute of Bankers, Dr. Charity Chiratidzo Ginya joined the board on 1 April 2016. She is currently the managing director of Nedbank Zimbabwe, recently rebranded from MBCA Bank, and is the outgoing president of the Bankers Association of Zimbabwe. Banksters Association of Zimbabwe. These are people that are raping the country. She was there in it, enjoying raping the economy of my people. There, Dr. Charity. Let me show you a picture. There. Okay, this is a mother. You would think that if you have a woman like this, she looks like she's empathetic. No, empathy for who? They would rather eat money. They don't care about empathy, these people. Doctor. I don't even know why they call themselves doctors. But next time I hear somebody introduced as Professor so and so or Doctor so and so, I will vomit or I will look aside. I am tired of these doctors and these professors. Won't ever rich. All of them, they've got nice houses, big cars, all of them. But my people are suffering. Dr. Gina has had a long career in banking, a long career in banking. You know what? You know that the biggest rapist in the Zimbabwean economy are the bankers. And so she has been part of it. We normally associate raping with men. Today I'm going to put a link that women are rapists too. Dr. Gina is a rapist of the Zimbabwean economy by being a banker, a leader of the banker. In Zimbabwe, it is the bankers. The banks that stole people's monies and closed down and did all sorts of nefarious things in the country from whenever. She was a leader of these bankers that were raping the economy of Zimbabwe. This is a woman, Mukati, a woman. So much for women's rights. They also need the right to rape our people. Dr. King has had a long career in banking. I must tell me, Dr. Charity Chiratidzo Kinya, why must we carry on be in the MPC? Why must we carry on having a banking license? Let's talk about that. How did you get a banker's license, and why should you keep on carrying on? Keep on being a banker when obviously it is the bankers in Zimbabwe that are destroying and stealing the economy of everybody else. Why must we allow you to carry on with your banker's license? And why? Okay, I'm not going to ask you why did Mthole Ncube put you there, because Mthole Ncube and you are in the same WhatsApp group. In this orgy that you're all involved in as the bankers of Zimbabwe, this orgy, That's it. When people rape people, when you sleep with someone, and you release, then with that, go away. Cardinally coming now in my bankers in Zimbabwe. You carry on coming on and on and on and on and on. Isn't it enough that you already caused one inflation of hyperinflation, but you keep on doing it over and 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 over again? Multiple orgasms raping my people. Aloneli. No, come on. Come on. Come on. Wonelane, man. Get to a point that is that I've had enough. I mean, if you're a man with a woman, the time when you say, I've very so when I'm done. Now you get to a place of your Wonela. Come on. Get out. We're going to put fresh people in the banking industry, son. Yeah, yes, Lord. We're going to put fresh people. Fresh people. Even people that are coming from high school or people coming from university, young people, okay, people who are not yet corrupted, who will do the right thing for the country. If I'm becoming president, that monetary policy committee you will see, it's not going to be made of these bank stars with the PhDs, this doctor and don't. No, I will take young people, okay. Abantu abale 22 years, you'll be surprised. 22, 25 years. They will sit there. They will make policy. It's not like a policy corner. It needs these people who are all super educated. No, the super educated are the super thieves. Dr. Junior has had a long career in banking, having also served as managing director and executive director of leading listed banks in Zimbabwe and Uganda. I feel sorry for Uganda. She was recently crowned as the Director of the Year 2015, awarded by the Institute of Directors. Institute of Directors Zimbabwe. I feel sorry for this institute. She is involved in a various charities in the charities, education, and church. Say church people. Oh my God, I don't go to church these days. I gave up on the church. What is happening in Pentecostal churches? Sometimes I say I want to go to church, and God says to me, don't go. I'm like, how can I say I must not go? You are God. We must be going to church. He says, no, son. Worship me here in your room. I will go online and watch an online church. I usually watch, on Sundays, I usually watch Pastor Mjari. Usually, when I was born again at Family of God. It used to be called Family of God. Now they call themselves Family Covenant Church. Back then, Pastor Mjari was a preacher. That guy used to preach. And yeah, he still can preach. But not like those days. Yeah. I'm still looking for videos or audio from Family of God when Pastor Mjari used to preach in the years 2002, 2003, 2004, somewhere there. TT Jakes was nothing. That was when church was church. Not now. Not now. These were fundis that go under the ocean. They come here to Cape Town under the ocean. They go there and they have sex with demons under the ocean so that they can get power to lay hands on people and people who fall under demonic influence. Then you tell me that this is church. This is a banker. This is a respectable looking woman. Charity Chiratito. She looks respectable. Oh, she's got all illustras. She's involved in various charities, in education, in church sector. Oh my God. And youth mentorship programs. Who would hate anybody like that? But she goes to the monetary policy and comes up with strategies that destroy everyone else. So, Mrs. Charity Chiratito Kenya, can you tell me why must my government carry on working with you? I'm sure they still have a vacancy in Uganda. Let's move on. Mrs. Matilda Zumbun. Mrs. Matilda. So, this one looks like the lady in church ongacollector imali ye-church, and you will all trust her, except you will all be wrong. She looks like the trustworthy mzalwane. Oh, mwanamwari. Let me show you her face. Look there. I haven't even read her bio. Just the face. Looks trustworthy. You can trust the country's money on a woman like this by just looking at her. She looks trustworthy. Except you will be wrong. Looks are deceiving. These guys are very good in manipulating our minds and making us think that they are trustworthy, because they fit in they tick the boxes. That is why if you listen, if you notice, one thing that you notice about my videos, I don't try to look nice. I actually do it on purpose. I don't try to dress up nicely, to present myself with a nice suit and tie and talk about, oh, I want to be president of Zimbabwe. I don't do that, because I know that those things are what they use to deceive you people. You see, I'm in bed. And in my bed, I'm sleeping. I mean, this is a headboard. I don't even have the money to afford the headboard. This is just a pillow. Okay, and my computer. Thank God for this design. It's on top of a bed. Already here to impress you with useless things. I know you people can easily be impressed by things that do not matter. If I wear nice, wear expensive clothes and like, appear nice, all of you be attracted. We wonder what's underneath this, whatever. Like, those are the things that are in people's minds. I know that, so I deliberately do not try to impress you for that purpose, so that you can listen to what we are saying. Because what is important is what we are saying, not how we appear. POSB board chairperson, Mrs. Matilda Zomo. Okay, so POSB, hayi ubambe imali ubambe ibhuku lebhenki, ibhuku lami le-POSB. POSB, one of the trusted banks in Zimbabwe. Okay, and this POSB was probably run well. She's probably the only one in this one that who looks more. She's probably the most cleanest in these groups of banksters. Let's read here, 20 February 2021. Mthuli Ncube, Commander in Chief. This is the same article like before. Nothing really concerning about here personally. But she's probably one with the cleanest records, because she led POSB. So let's judge here by how POSB has performed. Besides the fact that the $dollar lost value across the board, but POSB was rather run better than most other banks. And Pace is the only one whose voice is better than the others. I lost some keeper. I lost some keeper. Lost some keepers. Okay, I'm reading here about the PSP. The People's Savings Bank posted a profit of 11.3 million for the year ended December 31, 2017, up from 9.6 in the previous year. Board chairperson Mrs. Matilda Zumbuno said the positive financial results were driven by the bank's prioritization of effective and efficient business processes like employee skills review. I don't I don't have much information, negative information on this one or anything that looks dodgy or funny. Low I'm keeper low. Perhaps we should make our next reserve bank. After all, we need somebody ufundile. I'm not going to take you from selling your tomatoes and go and lead and go and lead the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. We need somebody with experience as well. You know, common sense also needs to prevail. But how should man go jam proper matter? I'm phone man. I go my government. You got to Mrs. Matilda Zumbono. She looks like the right one. Okay. No, this one I don't even feel anything in my spirit. Perhaps I'm wrong, but no. I don't feel anything negative, much negative about this one. She probably is the women that we're looking for, the women that we need. Mrs. Timboni said the bank was optimistic that the country's economy will continue on a growth trajectory considering the new economic and political developments. She said the country's economic growth and poverty reduction remains strong and will be able to tackle macroeconomic fragilities if it continues implementing competitive investment policies. Going forward, in line with Zim Asset, the bank will continue to introduce new products as well as utilize existing products in order to remain competitive. Considering the new political and economic developments, we believe these are exciting times to be part of the bank, said Mrs. Tumbo. I think I want to say Mrs. Tumbo. All right. Lo ngcono lo all right. The others they must just go, or at least they must just tell us why they must remain there. But to Mrs. Matilda Zumbono, we can consider here for the job of reserve banker because we need to maintain stability and continuation. You know, run and the bank must continue. It's good to have someone who was there before. He has got wisdom and understanding of the ills that was happening before. So let's take a look at her. There she is. No, I like this one. I would recommend, not obviously, I'm not a dictator, that Matilda Zumbuno would recommend, but that she be considered to replace Ujohn Mangoja. This one, I know I'm keeper. Anyway, she does look trustworthy, and she probably is. Just because she probably is. Because I don't see anything dodgy. Yeah. It just so happens to be in a sea of surrounded by terrible people. It's got no choice but to shine in a backdrop of being in an environment where terrible things are happening. Okay. She's the founder also of Aquamist Beverage, Zimbabwe. No, hi. Hello, I'm keeper lo. Abanye angibakhiphi. We still need to question them. All right. But this Matilda, she, on the other hand, might be what we are looking for. She, yeah, ngiyavuma, ngiyavuma Jesu. This Matilda might be what we are looking for. What we need at the Reserve Bank is someone who's competent. Okay, someone who understands the financial markets and the whole banking sector, who has got lots of experience in the banking sector, and yet at the same time must be trustworthy. Because the value, at the end of the day, the value of the Reserve Bank governor is trust. All we need from that person is to be trustworthy. And you need to have experience, years of experience, that will show us what you have been trustworthy in the past years. And what I'm reading here in Matilda, okay, something which I didn't read in the other ladies. We've been through women. I didn't see it even in my spirit. There's no, God did not even like anything at take. But this one, she's highly favored. This one, I'm telling you, no weapon, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Yeah, yeah. We need her. Then on the first day I fired John Mankuja, didn't there just announce that Matilda Zumbono is the new Reserve Bank governor. You can do whatever you want to do with the gentleman. Don't have time for jokes and playing. Charity Jinya. What did you say about Charity? Ellison Kwanyanya, sidlule kuye. Ellison, see, nice looking guy. Looks smart, obviously. But I mean, I've got a problem with these banking guys. One guy, they seem to be well fed. Yet the country is, I'm wondering, where do you get the money to buy food when everybody else doesn't have that money? Considering that your job is to ensure that money goes to everyone else. That's basically the job of the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. To create policies that foster economic inclusion and reduce poverty and unemployment. But these people, bafethe bona isihlathi zenkulu zivuvukile zingaka so. It's like this persistence Ellison he epitomizes those guys that I always see in Zimbabwe that are fat. You see, you know what I'm talking about. They are usually fat, their skin is nice, wearing expensive big cars. Their job is to allocate money to the people. But it appears that their job, they have been successful at allocating the resources to themselves. That they've been successful. But to everybody else, nothing. We're gonna have a problem with that. Okay. But uMatilda ngiyamkhupha mina madoda. Lingafaka le mali fona. Ngiyamkhipha mina from this group of evil people. Let's read more about it. No, there's another one now. These things, this Google doesn't have much information anyway. Matilda Zumbono is a Zimbabwean entrepreneur. In February 2021, she was appointed to the Monetary Policy Committee. She's the founder and executive officer of Accompanies Beverages. Zumbono holds a Bachelor of Accountancy and a Master's in Business Administration from the University of Zimbabwe. In 2019, she resigned as board chairperson from the board of the People's Own Savings Bank and was replaced by Israel Ndlovu as the acting board chairperson. In September 2019, she was part of a 11-member board of the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe appointed by Mthuli Ncube. In February 2021, she was also appointed into the Monetary Policy Committee by Mthuli Ncube. So she resigned at the POSB. I like people who resign. Unlike those who just stay. Like, why does John Mankuja not resign? Usahlalele mdalana, he's failing. I mean, he must just try to do everybody a favor and just say, hi guys, I'm failing, I'm just resigning. And why does even Mthuli Ncube resign? Okay. Masimiyeke uNcube mdala, usacampaigna shem, ubusy. Uzawina vele Country Park. But I want to see what he's doing in Country Park done in the whole country, not just in Country Park. Because it tells me that you're concerned about yourself only. You want appearance, you want votes in Country Park. You don't care about the votes of other places. So for me, the litmus test in is, will he do that to the whole country? What he's doing in Country Park? It must be done for the whole country. God says I must leave Mthuli for a while. Let me not attack him. Perhaps he's the one who's gonna give us a job, who's gonna give us opportunity. So you mustn't attack people who might be that same people who will open doors. As I said, that sometimes in an oppressive system, not everyone in the oppressive system is oppressive or intends to be oppressive. Some people stay even if they see that the system is oppressive because they believe that they are the salt of the earth. They believe that their presence there at least aids in making things better. So us who are on the outside can blame everyone. And rightfully so. We are right very blaming everyone, including those that are the salt. But those that are the salt, they stay in there anyway and take the blows, knowing the purpose of their calling. So don't underestimate that the role that resilience plays in that. There is someone called resilience here, or persistence. I think we're gonna close this one because I'm not gonna go to the executive management. But one important guy in the executive management is this one. Oh, surely there's two. There's two. The director of exchange control, Mr. Farai Masendo, and also the director of bank supervision, Mr. Philip T. Madamombe. How is it possible, Mr. Philip T. Madamombe? I'm not going to Google him. That as the bank director of bank supervision, you're supervising the banks. Why are the banks printing money and using that printed money to buy the Zim dollar? I mean, to buy the US dollar, then externalize the process. Why are you failing to supervise the banks? Do you need help from Mr. Philip T? I'm going to conclude. Philip T. Madamombe. We need to have T. Mr. Philip T. Madamombe. Philip T. Madamombe. We need to have T and discuss what are the challenges that you are facing as we try to regulate the banks, as we try to supervise the banks. Sometimes it's not your fault. Perhaps it's the environment. Alright, there is Mr. Philip Tapera Madamombe, non-executive director. Honors UZ Executive MPA NAST. What's a NAST? Associated IOPZ. Philip Madamombe is the current director of Bank Supervision Division at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. He has worked for the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe for 33. Oh, Jesus. Almost as big as many years as ZANU-PF. in various capacities, principally responsible for monitoring and assessing the safety and soundness of banking institutions, fostering and maintaining financial stability, planning, coordinating, and monitoring. As we say, when you read these things, they all sound nice and illustrious and perfect. Then go to the ground in Zimbabwe and see suffering. Then you're wondering, all of this English for that suffering. Please balance me. Tell me, explain to me what is happening. We said in planning, coordinating, and monitoring of supervisory activities, developing proactive prudential supervisory frameworks, developing proactive, hey, prudential supervisory frameworks. I want to understand, Mr. Madam Mombese, like this proactive prudential supervisory frameworks. Uh, why are they failing? If they are failing, and if they're not failing, obviously the banking sector in Zimbabwe is failing. But what are the challenges surrounding the development of proactive prudential supervisory frameworks? Okay, let's read. Prompt detection of potential and actual problems. That's very important, sir. Prompt detection of potential and actual problems. I like that because it says of potential problems, meaning that there are some problems that are not yet problems, but they've got the potential of being a problem. Therefore, you anticipate them and then you begin to come up with a policy or instruments that will help you deal with that. The biggest problem that I have, Mr. Philip Tapera, Madam Mombese, is the fact of that your banks are printing money. Okay. I would like to know what when you as the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, Mr. Philip Tapera, Madam Mombe, and you give the banks limit on how much limits on money creation. Okay. Is there a way in which you can rate their books and begin to see how much money they have created? Okay, vis-a-vis what they are allowed to create. And on their loans, do you check who do those loans go to? Who is the one who gets $10 trillion in loan from the bank? And do you know what that person does with that loan? Because here's the thing, I like what is written here, because it says that you are dealing with developing detection of potential and actual problems. Because I'm on that thing of potential and actual problems. Because this is what I'm describing is a problem, Mr. Philip Tapera Madam Mombese. Yeah, that I'll show you his picture. He looks like a respectable gentleman. Looks like a father. Now, prompt when sitting, I was saying that yeah, when you deal with these banks, do you look at who do they borrow the money to? Because I suspect that the people that they borrow the money to, they borrow millions of billions, trillions in Zimbabwean dollars. They go and put pressure on the US dollar, attack on the market, on the currency. So as they all buy that US dollar, the value of the US dollar goes up. So I believe, Mr. Philip, maybe you and I can understand each other. I believe that the inflation in Zimbabwe, first of all, is is primarily an inflation on the price of the US dollar as a product in Zimbabwe. The US dollar itself is a product. So the banks create lots of money to buy one product as a result because of uh, excessive supply against a narrow, excessive demand against a narrow supply of US dollars. That product, Mr. Philip, which is the US dollar, experiences inflation. That's what we have primarily. Only that product, the US dollar, experiences inflation, price inflation, owing to the fact that a lot of dollars, Zimbabwean dollars, they've been artificially created by the banking sector. Instead, instead of giving people loans so that they can build industries, they take those loans to buy the product with the US dollar. So here's a problem that I want to show you what I believe. When that US dollar as a product is highly inflated, now remember imports across the whole sector rely on the value of the US dollar. So as a result, everything else in the economy experiences inflation because the US dollar is inflated. Meaning, Mr. Philip, meaning that if the US dollar price in Zimbabwe is not inflated, it means that the prices of all the other things will also not be inflated. So the broader inflation across the whole economy is caused by the fact that the whole economy relies on the US dollar. Meaning that if as a country of Zimbabwe, if we do not need much export, for example, if our productive sector was local, let's just say hypothetically, everything was sourced locally using the Zimbabwean dollar, there will be no problem with the US dollar experiencing greater inflation because it will be just be an inflation on that product US dollar, which nobody needs anyway. But our vulnerability is that our broader economy actually needs that US dollar or is reliant on the US dollar. So the policy of the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe should be to stabilize the price of the US dollar in Zimbabwe. Yeah, I cleverly say the price of the US dollar in Zimbabwe, but actually, in fact, I'm talking about the price of the Zimbabwean dollar. But I like it to view from this perspective because it's easy. It's easier to understand the problem if you view the problem as the price of the US dollar in Zimbabwean dollar terms increasing instead of talking about the same dollar falling. It's still both sides are the same, but if you speak about the same dollar falling, it's hard for someone to get the concept. But if we talk about the US dollar as a product, it is becoming expensive, Mr. Philip Tapera Madamombe. And that price is what determines the functionability of the whole economy because the whole economy, more largely the economy, relies on imports. And to import in foreign currency, they now are worried about the price of the US dollar because they need that US dollar. So what I need you to do at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe is to work on policies that will stabilize the price of the US dollar in Zimbabwean dollar terms. Say, these are the potential developments. For the sake of continuity in the new government, I would like to keep Mr. Philip Mandamombe on his job. Even if he might have had some issues as well. But you've got 33 years of experience there. You cannot throw that into the dustbin. I need you to build a better country going forward. 33 years tells me that you have seen everything come in and go. And you're a repository of an immense level of intelligence and wealth that a new leader will need to build a country upon. So for that reason, I'm keeping Philip Madam. And I told you that you know Matilda Zumbono, mina vele I'm recommending her to replace John Mangochi. But Philip Tabera Madamombe, I'm also keeping him. I like him. I think that is essential. If it is possible, we can even make him deputy governor of the Reserve Bank. All right. If it is even possible, if depending on how our lunch goes, we can make him finance minister. Or anything that has got to do with banking. Okay. Uh, Developing proactive prudential supervisory framework, prompt detection of potential and actual problems. Enforcing compliance with the relevant laws and regulations. During his professional career, Philip also dealt with issues including licensing and supervision of banking institutions, problem bank resolution and market stabilization, regulation and supervision of non-bank financial institutions, risk management and corporate governance. He is part of a core team spearheading implementation of the National Financial Inclusion Strategy and Sustainability Initiative. Philip brings his wealth of knowledge and experience to Aurex Private Limited. Here's another one. Peter Makaramomba is a board member, MBA, IOPZ, CIZ, CIA, CACCABSA. But the country is broken and miserable with all of those titles. They are all useless to me. If my people were suffering, I don't care how many 20, 100,000. CIA, CCBC, SHISI, to me it means nothing. All I want is the grandmothers to have money to pay school fees, to feed abazukulu babo. I want the industry to be able to run properly so that we can achieve full employment. So mina Mr. Peter Makaramombe, your IOPZCIACACCCC to me means nothing if my country is at the state at which it is at. Takakuendeserei kuchikoro overseas if you're going to come and then you learn economics, applied economics, and only learn to apply riches to your own pockets. No, my daughter. No. Peter is a member of the following: Institute of Directors of Zimbabwe, Institute of Bankers of Zimbabwe, Institute of Public Accountants and Auditors Board, affiliate associate with China. Naim Koma. All of this smartness. Let's have lunch and tell me in your experience, but as a smart guy as you are, and being part of the elite in Zimbabwe, how is it that my people are hungry and your smart cannot translate into building an economy that serves my people? Where is the problem? Ndimna ngagwa here, timuvhise here, papita Magaramombe, timuvhise here munangagwa, timuvhise here, taura nesu, ngatitaura because iwe wakadzidza une MBA hazvipereri papo futi, une IOPZ, I don't even know what that is, over one CIA, and CIA, what is that? Central Intelligence Agency, handizivi. Une ACA, at least the ACA I know because all my friends in high school they all did ACA for some reason, I don't know why. Everybody was crazy about ACA. You need BSc in applied accounting, and ACA and applied accounting is the same thing, right? Certified internal audit, certification in risk management assurance. I need a certified internal audit because I need to audit the whole government. Mr. Peter Makaramombe said, we might work together because you have got 24 years experience in administration, auditing, corporate secretarial duties, finance and accounting. Of the more than 24 years, 13 years were at senior management level. The experience was acquired through employment in financial, printing and refinery institutions. Prior to joining Fidelity Gold Refinery, Gold Murphy. Prior to joining Fidelity Gold Refinery as a finance director in 2014, he worked for the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. He's a member of the, as I said, he's a member of Institute of Directors of Zimbabwe, Institute of Bankers and Accountants. So he is a guy to go to. He's a guy who understands Zimbabwe economy. He breathes. He lives, breathes. The Zimbabwean economy. He epitomizes the insiders, the inner circle. If we're talking about, let me show you his picture. Oh, I didn't show you also the picture of Philip Tapera, Madam Mombe. Oh, I thought that is. I thought for a second I thought they've got the same surname. Sure, they're different. One is Madam Mombe, other one is Makara Mombe. Okay, I was thinking that they were brothers. Let me show you the picture. All right, here is Philip Tapera, Madam Mombe. This is the guy I was telling you about. That we need him when it comes to the going forward. Because hayi uJohn Mankuja mina ngisamfunda. Angazi le ngoba ngiyamfuna na. Okay. Right now we're talking about Peter Makaramombe. These guys that are in Aurex. Aurex, this is one of the subsidiaries of the RBZ. Aurex Jeweler. Okay. Is an RBZ affiliate. So Peter Makaramombe is a board member. Yeah. So these are the people that I'm telling you about when I'm talking about Zimbabwean elite. When I say that the elite in Harare said this, these are the people that the Spirit of God will be talking about. Because God says to me, son, the elite are doing this, the elite are refusing this, the elite in Harare, they've got faces, okay, they've got names. Farai Masendo, Philip Tapera, Peter Makaramombe, the board member, the board chairman of Aurex Jewelry is Farai Masendo. This Aurex Jewelry is a company owned by the Reserve Bank. Mr. Farai Masendo works for the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe as Director of Exchange Control. He's also a board member of this gold company. He has gained experience in the trade and investment issues and is a trained fellow in the area of monitoring and analysis of private capital. He holds a master's in finance and investment from the National University of Science and Technology, NUST, as well as a master's in economic and bachelor's in economics from the University of Zimbabwe. He is also an associate member of the Institute of Bankers of Zimbabwe. Farai Masendo is a board chairman. Okay. So, these are the people that we call the elite in your country, my people. They have got the potential to make decisions that can make the economy grow, and they also have got the potential to be the problem that is refusing to let my people go. Holy is God. Holy is God, my daughter. Holy is the Lord. That's what I'm going to say to you. Holy is God. Uyingcwele uJehova. Holy is God. I think we're going to stop here. Yeah, Mr. Farai Masendo is one I said earlier that I want to talk about him, the Director of Exchange Control. But when I say much, I show you to his face anyway already. I want to talk about that. He's the Director of the Exchange Control, meaning that this guy is in charge of the exchange, laws governing the exchange rate. So he's an important fellow. What he decides can determine if you are going to live in poverty or in success as a country. So far, Mr. Farai Masendo has been making decisions that have made the exchange rate to lose value and therefore people becoming poor. We need to have dinner, a long dinner. I think that discussion will finish at 2 a.m. in the morning because I really want to get to the bottom of this issue. Why is the exchange rate out of control? And how can you help us going forward? Or should I get new people who can run the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe? All is God. My name is Ngobani Zondo and I am the leader of the underground government of Zimbabwe that is going to be ushered into power by the glory of God. Have a great day.